Hi everyone. In this video we're going to talk about one of the most important but often overlooked parts of writing, and that's proofreading. Many students spend hours researching and writing an assignment, but then submit it without carefully checking that final version. This is a problem because even strong ideas can lose impact if the work contains spelling mistakes, grammar errors, formatting problems, or even simply doesn't follow the assignment instructions. Proofreading is not just about finding typos, it's about making sure your work is clear, polished, professional, and ready for the reader. One of the first things we want to check is spelling. Spelling mistakes may seem small, but they can affect how your work is received. If a report contains several spelling errors, the reader might start to question the level of care that went into the assignment. In some cases, spelling mistakes can also change the meaning of a sentence or make the writing harder to understand. For example, confusing words such as there, and there, affect and effect, can distract the reader and weaken the professionalism of the work. A spell checker is useful, but it's not enough. Spell check may catch if a word spelled incorrectly, but not if it's used in the wrong context. That's why you still need to check line by line. The second thing is grammar. Grammar helps your reader follow the meaning. If your sentences are too long, awkward, incorrectly structured, the reader might struggle to understand your argument. Common grammatical errors include things like sentence fragments, run-on sentences, incorrect punctuation, and inconsistent verb tense. For example, a sentence that is too long may contain several ideas at once and become confusing. Perhaps a better approach would be to break that into 2 or 3 shorter sentences. Good grammar is not about trying to sound complicated, it's about making your ideas clear. Remember, the goal of writing is not to make the reader work harder. The goal is to communicate your point effectively. A third element of proofreading is formatting. Things like font size, spacing, headings, page numbers, layout. These are details that matter because they affect readability and presentation. If your assignment instructions say to use 12-point font, double spacing, and a specific referencing style, follow those instructions. Ignoring formatting requirements may suggest that you didn't read the assignment instructions properly. Font size is especially important because using a font that is too small can make the work difficult to read. Too large can make it look like you're trying to stretch the assignment. A professional assignment should be clear and consistent and easy to follow. Avoid using multiple fonts, inconsistent heading styles, or unusual formatting unless the instructions say. Keep it simple. A fourth thing to check is the page limit or the word count. If an assignment has a page limit or a word limit, it's part of the instructions, part of the task. Going significantly over the limit might show that you haven't been selective enough. Being under the limit might suggest that your answers lack depth or development. Page limits and word counts in assignments, they're there to test your ability to communicate clearly within boundaries. In the workplace, this skill is extremely important. Managers and decision makers often don't have time to read long, unfocused reports. They need writing that is clear, concise, and relevant. So if an assignment asks for a 5-page report, don't submit 10. If a report asks for 1,500 words, don't submit 2,500. Proofreading helps you check whether every paragraph is necessary. Ask yourself some questions like, does this paragraph answer the question? Does this paragraph add value? Is this repeating something that I've already said? Could this be written more clearly and more briefly? Another important part of proofreading is checking whether your work actually answers the assignment question. Students sometimes write a lot of content, but drift away from the question. Before submitting, go back to the assignment instructions and compare them to your final draft. Ask yourself these questions. Have I answered every part of the question? Have I followed the required format? Have I included the required sections? Have I supported my points with evidence? Have I included citations and references where needed? Proofreading is also about checking the flow of your writing. Read your work from the perspective of someone that's never seen it before. Does the introduction explain the purpose clearly? Do the paragraphs follow a logical order? Does the conclusion bring the main points together? A useful technique can be to read your work out loud. This helps you hear awkward sentences, missing words, and other unclear elements, perhaps unclear phrasing. Another technique, one that I certainly recommend, is to leave time between writing and proofreading. If you proofread immediately after finishing, your brain may see what it expects to see rather than what is on the page. Even a short break can help you notice mistakes more clearly. You can also proofread in stages. First, check the argument and the structure. Second, check the paragraph flow and its clarity. Third, check spelling and grammar. And then finally, check the formatting, the font size, the citations and references. Trying to check everything at once can be difficult. Breaking proofreading into these stages can make it more manageable. Tools such as spell checkers and grammar checkers can help, but they don't understand the assignment the way you do. They may miss errors, or they may suggest changes that don't fit, or fail to notice that your argument is unclear. Use technology as a support, but not a replacement for your own judgment. So in closing, proofreading is a key part of a strong academic and professional writing process. It helps you correct spelling and grammar errors, improve clarity, flow, and respecting the quality of work that people expect. A well proofread assignment tells the reader that you care about your work. A poorly proofread assignment can make even good ideas look rushed or careless. Good proofreading can make the difference between work that simply contains information and work that looks polished, professional, and credible.